All right, everything is set up. What I am doing here is revealing the first writer's formats that I found in the Hebrew text. And if you're on YouTube or Kick, everything but vertical, I guess. Above my head, you'll see the verse that says that this scribe read 3 or 4 columns, and that's what you see here now. And this is a 3-verse format. What I try to do is I must use 2 major words connected with the least amount of smallest words I can, and then this becomes the verses. Now, usually the first verse in a 3-verse format is a statement, and then this becomes like a part of a sentence, and that becomes the full sentence, and this defines the statement. Now, this to them was known as a psalm, but they wrote in psalms where you can see these 2 are connected together. I like calling them a larger paragraph, and then I'll put a double space between them and a single space here to get the visual of how these are grouped together. And what I'm doing is just I've put all the books that I'm going to use from the Hebrew text in this in this document, and what I'm doing is I'm editing and rearranging the text to make it as perfect in order as I can. So what I'm doing is going to be just reading the sentences, and then verses, and then I will be editing them to smooth them out and read correctly. And you'll notice the different editing marks that I use. Here, let me guess, I should show that a little bit. Let's see, where is some real editing here going on? There wasn't much editing here. Okay, let me scroll this way. Okay, this is more like it. These verses, I found other text that I'm going to use, so these are just taken out. The red is I'm adding. Green, I'm changing one word from the other. Yellow means I'm adding the text, or that's the word that I'm adding to meet the format. But that's what you're going to see me do here. So stick around. It's actually Jesus' prophecy of a helper who's going to come and tell you the truth about Jesus, and I am him. So I'm going to continue. I've been doing this for 30 years. This is my last going over the text before I hopefully we'll be putting it into a book form for everybody, hardcover. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and how he ruled, they are written down in the book of Chronicles and the Kings for Israel. Jeroboam was king for 2 10s and 2 years. That'd be 22 years. They didn't have the number system or words for every number that we have today. They literally wrote them out, but I wanted to make sure that it was easier to do this way. So he ruled 2 10s and 2 years, and he died from or by, I don't have that decision made yet. Then Nabad, his son, ruled from this city here, which I don't have that city listed yet. But what happened was Saul was ruling from Bethel, which is right about here, and now they had a fight with or they're going to have a fight with not Rehoboam, but Asa over this area. And so the thing here is he's moved up into here someplace, is what the text is telling us. That's where he lived. He didn't make Bethel his capital city, and he lived in it. So I've got to add this here to my map, and it's in Ephraim because it was close enough to Bethel. And then later they moved it to Samara. Now, this is the summary of Rehoboam. This is Solomon's son, and he is the king of Judah. So, let's see. Where is that? Maybe I have it under here. These are the way the land is divided up right now into two nations. So now Rehoboam. Now I represent good guys with capital letters, and you can see Jeroboam does not have. Now that's because he made a false image of our Creator and told them to stop going to Jerusalem to make your sin offerings. Do it here in Bethel, and our Creator killed his youngest son. The timeline here for these kings are right here. This is Rehoboam when this is where our Creator divided the two nations up. And then you see I've got it listed. He lived for 22 years. And then Nadab for 2 years. And then we're going to see Baasha. He's going to come from Solomon's line. Okay. So here, the son of Solomon ruled Judah, and Rehoboam was 4, 10, and 1 years old when he was king, and he reigned 17 years. Now the rest of the actions. So if I added actions there, I should have added actions here. I would put it as deeds, but I don't like that word has a different meaning, so actions will fit right now. And then I don't think these are going to get separated, so I'm kind of zipping them together and saying I think the order from there to there is pretty good. Now the rest of the actions by Rehoboam and all that he did are written down in the books of Chronicles and the Kings for Judah. So now you have an understanding of the books that they had wrote or had made up. One book would be of the kings and what they'd done. The Chronicles would be the things they'd done the whole time, like what they built, who they interacted with. All that's been destroyed. We only have a fragment of what's actually we should have. And there were battles between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. Then Rehoboam died and was buried with his forefathers by the city of Bethlehem. So when you see on the internet that they found the body of Solomon, or if they don't find the other bodies or the others, bones, if they don't have all of them together, then they're just lying to you. The text will reveal that all the kings from David on were buried together from Judah. And you've seen that list. Let's see here. This is the list of the kings here on this side. So you can see there should be quite a few bones that were found together. But right here. And Asa, his son, became king and ruled in his place. Now this is a summary. Now this, we're going to get into how Baasha killed him. So now Nahab, the son of Jeroboam, became king over Israel in the years for Asa, our king for Judah, and he ruled Israel for 2 years. So in the timeline, you see that, and you can see just about where he started ruling. These are, as you can see, this is not proportionally right because I've got 38 years here and I got 35 years here. It's the events that I'm trying to point out that happen right about here in the king's timeline, comparing these kings to this king. So just like right here. So the text does help a lot, revealing the dates and times for these kings, and I've had to adjust some of the dates, but that's because our creator has his own hidden formats in the text, and I follow that because I studied that text for probably 5 years to edit it and get it corrected and get it in order, and did the timeline study. Actually, some of the times, like you see here, 2 and 12 years or 2 and 22 years, 2 years, I didn't adjust. So, and I think the only really one that was true was Asa, that when you get into larger numbers, that only one digit either on either the tens or the ones area needed adjusting. So he did evilness in Wyvie's sight and lived life like his father sinned. Whoops. How come I don't have this divided? It's a 4-verse group. I'm going to get rid of this verse. And he lived life. He lived life. Well, actually, I'm going to use this. And I don't need this because I'm seeing it's being repeated here pretty much. So I get rid of that text now. Like his father sinned, and Israel sinned too. This was the nation Israel. You know, I've got to get me a cheat sheet going here. This is starting to bother me that I need, these names are starting to pop up the way I use the king for Judah, the king for Israel. This will be Israel, that when they're bad as a single nation, and if they're good, I use a capital I here. King for Judah, this is the nation Judah, all caps. Yeah, it will be all caps. And they're good at this time, because actually Judah does tumble and fall. So when I got Israel here, I have to go here and let me save this text. Cheats on the desktop. This will be cheats 2, I guess, because I had to have them before, but it's long gone. Send and Israel 2, send 2, then Baasha with the men from Ephraim conspired against Nadab And I tried to make these names as best as I could, shorten them down, and they killed him. Then it has to be, then there was conflict between Asa and Nab all the days of his life. This is supposed to be the summary of Nab. So now Nab's okay. Now he's going to die, so we should have his summary. Now the rest of the actions by Nab and all he did are written down in the books of Chronicle and the Kings for Judah. Most of them are good. Then Nab died and was buried in a field. Don't know where. In the 10 and 2 years for Asa, who ruled as king, and he ruled for 38 years in Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem is a good city, so they get a capital letter. And Asa was righteous in Yahweh's sight, like David his forefather. He also killed the queers in Judah and removed idols, for Asa was willingly devoted to Yahweh all his days. And I need to get a comma here, put it here, although I'm thinking about getting rid of all these commas and stuff, which I think there's like 18,000 of them that I put in. Okay, I'm going to sew this together because I quickly read. King Nab and 3 tribes were sieging Judah. Okay, now what that means is, let's see, let me just pop this one up. Okay, it must be loaded up down here already. No, it's not that one. It's not that one. Not that one. How come it didn't pop up? Okay. So the story is going to be right in this location. Jerusalem is here, and this is where Bethel is. And it's kind of, they're going to block these roads here to get there. So because this is the main highway through all Israel for 5,000 years, okay, this road has been here because of the way the rivers pinch off the land. That makes sense. And this is what's known as the highway when you read that word. So they're going to be besieging or siege, put up blockades and stuff. We're sieging. Then Baasha killed him in his 3rd year and ruled in his place. So if it's ruled 3 or 2 years, it has to be at the beginning of his 3rd year. But I can't put the word beginning of the 3rd year. So anyways, let's see what besieging Judah. I want to put a map here for everybody because I showed you the map. I want to make sure that the map goes in here. The more I make sure the map's, the easier people will understand the story or have an idea in their head. Because actually I found the location of probably within 2 miles of where David fought Goliath. So the text actually is very descriptive when it's cleaned up. As soon as he was king, he killed all the descendants of Jeroboam. Okay, according to YV, what he spake through his servant Ahijah. Now the rest of the actions by Baasha and all he did, they are written down in the book of the Chronicles and the Kings for Israel. And he did evil in YV's sight and lived the way. Jeroboam sinned, but he made Israel sin, but he made Israel worship. It's Jeroboam who made this idol. So the story is he's going to continue that to keep them from coming down. After Baasha lost land, then from those days, why they began to remove their tribes from the land of Israel. Hadad from Aram defeated them in the east Manasseh, then the lands for Israel. Then from the Jordan eastward, all the land and their city Gilead. Yes, I've got maps made. Okay, at this time, I believe Lebanon has been taken over because there's no more stories about Lebanon and a king for Lebanon. And this would have been Aram, and then the other king above was for the kingdom of Hadith, something like that. But this is what's being mentioned here, and we don't really have the story. Now, I got to put that city that I just had, Gilead, is got to be around here somewhere. And because the popularity of how you would have a large city here, at Jesus' time, we know it's Tepelopis or something like that. But the object is there's got to be a major city here. This would have been the refuge city that was told to them to build by for those who killed people. Then they would go on there and they'd be judged where there was an accident. And if it was an accident, then they would take them back and say, we investigated, it's an accident, your neighbor's okay. But if he did, then the blood avenger, the one from his family, could come and kill them. Or they were taken out and stoned. But that's what the refuge city was about. So it has to be pretty accessible. So it's almost like it's got to be probably up in here to make it easy enough for people. This is only about, I think, maybe 15 miles from here to here. But that's what's going on. Aram now owns this, and that's what this text is saying. Then the lands for Israel. Now that means he was attacking the lands for Israel. Like he took this over and he tried to get in here and take these two. I think we will have a story about these guys going up here to help them out. And that's when, no, that's a serious time, so that's a long way yet. Ahab for Aram, defeated them in East Manasseh. Then the lands for Israel, from the Jordan eastward, all the land and their city. See, this is all the land. The land would be the tribe's land, and the Jordan eastward. Defeated them in East Manasseh. Now I know why I got some here, but this is going to take time for them to do this. So this is almost like, well, it looks like this is going to be the next battle here. His son is going to take over. So I'll probably make a little bit of hash lines that they did take a little bit more of the land, but when it says Jordan eastward, all the land, might be some. I think that's a better way to describe it, because otherwise it's talking about a whole tribe, and I know there's going to be Jehoshaphat's going to come up in align with Ahab, and then they're going to go battle Aram over this territory, and Ahab's going to die. They don't get rid of him, and that's when they take that over. So that story is there, so it has to be some here. Okay, some of their lands, and that way I can put the marking of, like, they did take over, and that city's got to be here. I guess I'll read all that to make sure, but okay. Because I got to update all my maps, and I got like 80 of them. So then there was conflict between Asa and Baasha, king for Israel, and Baasha went to be against Judah by blocking the roads. Now this, I thought there was a sieging. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, here it is. I'm going to say blocking, that's sieging. Blocking to Judah. I would use more words, but this is the words I gotta use, I guess. Okay. If he was blocking them, setting up preventive preventing them from coming in freely. And by blocking the roads, in order to stop anyone from going out or coming into Jerusalem. That's kind of what's needed to be said above. But then Asa took silver and gold from his treasury and gave it to his guards and sent them to Sin Ahadad, the son from damn, I'll just skip over the names, to the king for Aram, who ruled from Damascus, requesting a treaty between you and me. Now I have sent to you silver and gold to break your treaty with Bashan for Israel, so that he is withdrawn from me. And again, agreed with King Asa. Then his armies were against the cities and took. The only thing I can see is they had to have a battle, and then this has to be retook. Or is this what the story up above is talking about? Yeah, this has to be the story here. This reads better as a group. The next one down is Gad, I believe. Yeah, Gad. So they got to come in and take this. Then land from Gad. From the Jordan eastward. That is not just a little bit, that's this means that they try to take Gad. Let me see here. I need a better. Gad. Now it's easier to defend a mount because you're fighting downwards, so you can throw things down from the mount. I guess I don't know the land structure enough to, but it is a mount. I don't know if this whole thing is, but this is a valley for these rivers, so this looks like this is beginning like a valley through here. So east of the Jordan, so it's got to be, that's what it's got to say. Then lands from Gad. From the Jordan eastward. Some of their land. So that there. This move up above, and let's see, I think I'm on 5C. We'll move verse up. So I'm going to take this verse, make it 8 point, and put it here. I guess I can color it. Let's do it like that. Line this up so it's easy to relate to where I moved it. Oops. And this word should be took, so I can put it down here. Took. So I'm going to add to this and get rid of this and took. And now you understand that that's a city that they took. Okay. This wasn't gray. Okay. Then land from Gad, from the Jordan eastward. Then the land from Gad. It's going to have to be like the word was here. It has to be here. Was some of their land. That it was some of their land. And that would be Like I said, up on the mount would have been harder to get to. Easier to defend. So I think that's now edited correctly. Save that. Make sure I get to see what's going on with my stream here. All right. Now, then there were conflicts between, okay, blocking the roads, sent them to him. Yeah, then he took, so this is like a summary of, right? It's almost like it's a summary of this guy here. Yeah, there's the summary. So how come I don't have that? That's because I have him losing the land, and I think I have it noted in the timeline. Loses East Manassa. Yeah, this guy loses, not this guy. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's not the promised land. That's land Moses given. The promised land is on the west side of the Jordan River. Then from those days, why they began to remove their tribes, lands from Israel. It might be out of order because I should have this deal done first. Yeah, this text needs to go below this text. That's what's driving me crazy. Oh, I already have it moved. Oh, I moved it up. Yeah. Well, I guess I need all that in here. So, and all the editing that I did. Actually, this now means that what I edited is not true. If I use this one, then it's only East Manasseh and nothing for Gad. Which I'm going to do that. Okay. Okay, so now I gotta use a map here, so I don't need anything here. So this has to be map here. Then there was conflict between Asa and Baasha, king for Israel. Baasha went to be against Judah by blocking the roads in order to stop anyone from going out or coming into. Now he really sealed it off. Sealed. So blocking is not a good word. He blocked the roads in order to stop anyone from coming or going. And Asa gave it to his guards and sent them to Sin-Hadad, and then his son from Hadad to the king for Aram, who ruled from Damascus, requesting a treaty between you and me. Now I have sent to you silver and gold to break your treaty, so that he is drawn away from me. He agreed with King Asa. Then his armies were against the cities for Judah. lands, because it's including Neftatilia. That's yeah, that's a better story. And Asa made Judah's army remove the rocks and timber that Baasha had built up along Benjamin. Now the rest of the actions by Asa, all he did, they are written down in the book of Chronicles of the Kings for Judah, and in his old age he had diseased feet. Then Asa died and was buried with his forefathers by the city of Bethlehem. Then Jehoshaphat his son ruled in his place. Okay. Words from one of you came to Baasha says, okay, we got a missing prophet here. Exalt you and made you king over Israel, but lift away Jeroboam, made Israel to sin, and you have provoked me to anger for their sins. I will remove Baasha's descendants, like I made him to the descendants from Job, like I made him do to the descendants from Joab. Okay, yes. Okay, this looks like we're on to the next king now. Now the rest of the actions by Baasha and what he did are written down. I just thought I read that. That was Asa. Let's see, they used that city again in Ephraim. So king in 3 years. In the 23rd years, that's when he became king. Let me see if that's right.